Greetings, everyone. This is Terry Naturally with another edition of Terry Talks Nutrition. You can find us here every weekend, same time, same station. You can't miss us. We're waiting for you and waiting for you to bring on your family members, relatives, friends. We all need it because we are all responsible for our health. No one else. We can make the right choices for the right reasons, for the right health. It's a matter of choices. All of the diseases that we have today, that drugs are prescribed for, are truly only because of lifestyle choices. 98%, 2% based on genetics, and some handicaps or defects that we can't prevent. Some of them are unknown. But we can change our lives tremendously by seeking better choices. I say this all the time, so I'm not going to run it into the ground again today because you know it. We have to make better choices. And today I have a lot of good ideas coming your way. In fact, my featured topic will probably reach or should reach everybody in the country, because I'm going to talk about fast relief for pain. America is filled with pain. It's a nation of inflammation. Everybody has the inflammation, whether you can feel it or not, because your heart could be inflamed, your liver inflamed, your kidneys inflamed, and many times you don't have any symptoms until the damage is too far done. Too much damage has already begun in some of these glands, organs, body parts, wherever. That's the problem with pancreatic cancer. So much damage is done before there's any sign or symptom that there's cancer. So we need to make the choice of a better diet, better lifestyle, that we can relieve inflammation, relieve pain, but we'll talk more about that in a moment. We're also going to talk about new research on why teens need to eat better. They don't, but they need to, and I'll tell you why. And then the herb of the day is milk thistle. It's a thistle that grows everywhere. You might even have it in your yard or your garden. And then watch out for melanoma, skin cancer. And give your gut a boost by eating almonds. And then I can tell you how to have BetterHerb for an overactive bladder. And later in life, we'll talk about a health boost, and that is by trying the ketogenic diet. It works. There's nothing better than choosing a healthy diet, exceptionally high in proteins and fats, and low in carbohydrates. We can make a big difference. And no sugar, no sugar. Just think of all the carbohydrates, the refined carbohydrates, white flour, white rice, everything white. And that all turns into sugar in the body. Carbohydrates convert to sugar. And that's the only way we can use it for energy or store it as fat. That's why we are fat. We eat so many carbohydrates, and we can't burn all those carbohydrates for energy. So in the body's wisdom, it has always been that it stores it for an emergency, because we did not eat the amount of carbohydrates and sugar years ago. But just think of it. All the new foods that we're eating today has caused all these new diseases. And what is the best form of calcium to use for building strong bones? And then we're going to talk about back to school help for kids. We have a really good lineup of information to share. I want to make sure we share this with you, that we can help you understand more about your health and how to improve it. So really, truly, how can we have natural pain relief? What is the best way to improve and relieve pain? I can help you relieve all of your pain to a greater extent, maybe not 100%, and it depends on the person. And remember, pain is caused by inflammation. Inflammation is always at the site of injuries, the site of where there is damage. Why do we have inflammation in the lungs? Because we smoke. Smoking causes inflammation. Because smoking causes so much damage to the lungs that inflammation is there to relieve the pain. As I always tell you, when we have a fire, a house is on fire, a whole block is on fire, and we have fire trucks, firemen all around the area. They didn't cause it, but they're there to relieve and stop the fire. And all of the causes of why we have inflammation has to be corrected before we can get rid of the inflammation. Inflammation does not start the problem. Inflammation is there to stop the problem. But because we eat an American diet, which is highly inflamed, it's a pro-inflammatory diet. Lots of sugar, lots of carbohydrates, a lot of seed oils, or once known as vegetable oils, all cause inflammation because the diet causes the damage. And then obesity causes the damage. So we are always highly inflamed. But curcumin, the extract from turmeric, relieves pain. Now there's a huge difference between curcumin and turmeric. So many authors, journalists, talk about turmeric. Turmeric is not the pain reliever. It is not the anti-inflammatory. Turmeric is the plant. And inside that plant, in fact, the root or rhizome of the plant that grows under the ground contains the curcumin. But only about 2 to 4% of that root is curcumin. So you have to extract it out and concentrate it up to about 95%, which is made up of 3 different curcuminoids. These curcuminoids are medicinal. They have the best medicinal value for relieving pain and many other inflammatory conditions. Turmeric does not. There's 21,000 studies on curcumin, just a handful on turmeric. And what it does, it reduces the intensity of muscle and joint pain. It reduces muscle damage and joint damage. Has an anti-inflammatory effect. So when we smoke, we're going to have damage, oxidative damage. If we have a sunburn, take a look at your skin. It's red. It may be peeling, very, very sore, very tender. You don't want anybody to touch you because it's burnt so badly. That causes inflammation because inflammation goes to that sunburn site and tries to improve it, reduce it, stop it. But it didn't cause it. So you don't want to stop inflammation. You want to stop the cause of the damage that then brings on inflammation. The firemen didn't start the fire, but thank goodness they're there to put out the fire. Now the fire started from some reason. Could be a variety of conditions. But the firemen didn't start it. They're there to put it out. Inflammation didn't start any damage. It's there to put it out. So as people say, we got to stop the inflammation. No. Inflammation is our friend. It's there to help us. You have to look at the cause. And the primary cause in the United States is the American diet. It's highly pro-inflammatory. Excessive sun is pro-inflammatory. Smoking is pro-inflammatory. Obesity is pro-inflammatory. Chemicals, pollution, you name it. All those are causing our body to be damaged over a period of time. Cellular damage. And then inflammation is there to help stop the damage. If you fall over and you hurt your knee's going to swell up. It's going to be hot to the touch. It's going to be painful. That's inflammation working to repair what happened to you when you fell. The fall is the cause of the inflammation coming to the site to repair the damage of falling. Inflammation didn't cause the fall, but you will have inflammation there even though it's a natural occurrence. And clinical trials, the results of these clinical trials show that curcumin reduces muscle and joint pain, any kind of pain, whether it be PMS, menopausal pain, headache pain, back pain, joint pain, all those forms of pain can be reduced with curcumin, relieved with curcumin. And many people have totally relieved all their pain. And it actually even reduces muscle pain and increases athletic performance, speeds recovery after exercise, and reduces exercise-induced inflammation. Exercise is good, but you can't take it to an excess. Just because it's good, food is good, but you can't take it to an excess. Anything over what is tolerable by the body is going to cause inflammation. All these weekend warriors who don't do anything during the week go out on the weekend and do more in terms of exercise or playing football or doing something that's out of the norm. Now they have inflammation. And people that do nothing and all of a sudden they jump on the bandwagon, oh, let's do a marathon. No, don't ever do a marathon. It's a sport. If you want to join in your friends as a sport, go for it. But it does not do you any good. It's too much. Even just 10 minutes a day of exercise can make a difference. Not running for 3 or 4 hours. Many of the marathoners have upper respiratory tract infection, inflammation, because they have gone in excess of what their body can tolerate. And you can have really fast pain relief if you use a combination of curcumin, boswellia, and black sesame seed oil. Curcumin and boswellia are taken up into the black sesame seed oil. It's just not 3 different ingredients. The black sesame seed oil actually increases the absorption of curcumin and boswellia. Especially good for healthy adults with acute muscle pain. Not chronic, acute. Like a headache. That's acute. Oh, I just hurt my back. I lifted the piano and my back's out. That's acute. It's not like having arthritis or rheumatoid arthritis, osteoarthritis, or all the other itises. Itis is another word for inflammation. Healthy adults with acute muscle pain. They took an herbal blend of curcumin, boswellia, and black sesame seed oil called a pain blend, or an OTC pain drug, once a day in the morning for 7 days. Now, half the group took the combination of the herbs, and the other half of the group took a drug called Tylenol, acetaminophen. They took 1,000 milligrams, 2 tablets of the drug. Now, at the end of the 7 days, just 7 days, because we're talking about acute pain, not chronic pain, something that comes on very, very fast, which you can't predict. But you know when you have arthritis because you're sore all the time, or you have pain in your knees all the time, or your hip all the time. That's chronic pain. Now, both groups had exactly equally effective pain relief. That means the herbal combination, curcumin and boswellia, with black sesame seed oil, worked as effectively as 1,000 milligrams of Tylenol. But the herbal pain blend of the 3 herbs was 8 times better in reducing the unpleasantness and emotional aspects of acute pain. When I say unpleasant, because people who have pain aren't pleasant. If you know anybody with pain, they're not whistling and singing, they're groaning and moaning. But the herbal pain blend was 8 times better in reducing the emotional aspect of acute pain. If you walk through a grocery store and you bump into somebody, you didn't mean to, maybe your basket hit them, and they just turned around and they growled at you. You got to cut them some slack. They may be in pain. They're not very happy. They're not going to smile back at you and say, "Oh, that's okay." No, they're going to moan and groan and take it out on you or me, whoever does it, because they're not happy. How can you be happy when you're in a lot of pain? You can't be. And the results of this experiment was detectable after the first dose, as soon as 1 hour after taking the curcumin, boswellia, black sesame seed oil combination. No side effects. Extremely safe. You can even give it to teens. I wouldn't give it to younger kids, because if younger kids have pain, you don't want to give them anything unless you know why they have pain. If they have pain, young kids should not have pain, so make sure you talk to your doctor. Find out what the situation is before you just blow it off. "Oh, take this. This will work for you." You can't do that with kids. You want to know why they have pain. And it's better to be diagnosed by a physician to learn why. Then you can make choices as to what you should do. Now, this pain blend is not just for muscle pain. In rheumatoid arthritis, in patients with this condition, curcumin was able to reduce the pain and swelling more effectively than prescription drugs. 14% of patients in the drug group dropped out of the study because of adverse effects. They couldn't tolerate the drug. While the herbal group that was taking curcumin, there were zero dropouts. Nobody complained. All the participants continued on the herbal combination because they did not have any side effects. They didn't have any adverse effects. And then in another study of curcumin versus ibuprofen in patients with arthritis, the curcumin group had less pain and better ability to walk upstairs and walk a distance, better than the group that was taking ibuprofen. And the herbal group were without adverse effects, no side effects. In the ibuprofen group, there were side effects. Always drugs. Curcumin and boswellia together relieved arthritis pain more effectively than a prescription NSAID. 14% of patients were pain-free after 3 months, versus 7% of the drug group were free of pain, but the herbal group were without side effects or adverse effects. Safer and as effective as all NSAIDs, ibuprofen, Tylenol. So if you're looking for an over-the-counter preparation that's going to relieve your pain, look for a combination of curcumin, boswellia for chronic pain, and for acute pain, curcumin, boswellia, and black sesame seed oil. So you can relieve your pain fast. Very fast-acting pain relief. A combination of curcumin, boswellia, blended, actually mixed and blended like dough, with black sesame seed oil. 1,000 milligrams of this blend 2 or 3 times daily. No significant adverse effects. No side effects. Very safe and effective even for teens. I would say for 12 and beyond. Now here's some new research on why your teen needs to eat better. A new study looks at effects of sugar on the adolescent brain. Researchers used an animal model to evaluate the effects of poor quality, high sugar diet during the teen years. 2 groups of adolescent rats. Group 1 ate standard, nutritionally balanced rat chow. That's what they ate. Group 2 had poor quality, lots of sugar, lots of carbohydrates, some rat chow, and potato chips, peanut butter cups, high fructose corn syrup. No limits, as much as they wanted. You probably think those are some happy rats. Temporarily, but they're going to suffer for it. As we suffer today because of our indiscretion of how we choose the better food for us. Both groups underwent standardized memory tests. They were introduced to new locations, and then a few days later, reintroduced to that area with a new object added. And the results of this test, the junk food diet rats did not appear to remember locations they had visited, and no curiosity about new objects in their areas. Even after being switched to a healthy diet in adulthood, the memory problems continued, suggesting permanent damage to the brains. The younger we are in terms of health, better diet, better sleep, a longer hours of sleep, exercise, a total package of all of these natural health principles in teens today will benefit them longer into adulthood, and they will have less problems in their later years than those that ate junk food from a teen on. They're going to be suffering all of their life. We're going to talk about milk thistle, but maybe I would just pause here a moment before we talk about milk thistle. We're going to stop and take a break here shortly. It's only going to be a few seconds. But just to remind you, you can listen to Terry Talks Nutrition locally. You can listen to Terry Talks Nutrition anywhere around the world. All that you require is a computer. Go on to terrytalksnutrition.com. Click on the radio show section and click on live, but you have to be on the same time we are here in the Central Standard Time in the U.S. So you might have to adjust your time as to when you listen to the show. But also all the shows are archived in the radio show section. So you can bring up various radio shows and listen anytime you want, on demand or when it's convenient. You can do this wherever you go. Take it with you. When you ride or walk or hike, wherever you go, take Terry with you. We're going to be paused here for a few minutes. Come back right after these messages. Right here on Terry Talks Nutrition. I'm Terry Naturally. And welcome back, my friends. This is Terry Naturally and Terry Talks Nutrition. As I went into the break, I mentioned we talk about milk thistle. It's a thistle that grows all over the world. It has a beautiful purple top. In that milk thistle are compounds called silymarin. Silymarin is a very active substance that corrects liver damage. It's a plant that is native to Europe, but now grows all over the world. Seems like weeds and thistles grow everywhere. Hard to grow a garden. It has been used for over 2,000 years for liver, kidney, gallbladder, and digestive problems. In human clinical trials of patients with liver disease, treatment with milk thistle reduced elevated liver enzymes by up to 30%. In some cases, returning liver enzymes to normal levels. And milk thistle has been shown to be positive and provided positive results for patients with acute hepatitis, acute viral hepatitis, alcoholic hepatitis, and liver cirrhosis. This is very important to keep your liver healthy. How can we keep our liver healthy? Well, we can keep it very healthy by using milk thistle and a few other natural herbs like antigraphis and French grapeseed extract. So this is a way to keep our liver healthy with milk thistle. There's even been cases on record where someone was so unfortunate to eat a poisonous mushroom. Some mushrooms can destroy the liver. And when they have this condition, there's a period of time that they have before they die. They'll die from poisonous mushrooms. But if they're given milk thistle, some of those patients have survived. Not many, but that just shows you the power of milk thistle on healthy liver. So the best thing to do is use 100 milligrams of milk thistle, standardized for its key compound, silymarin, or silibin, S-I-L-Y-B-I-N, silibin. You can also combine that with 200 milligrams of antigraphis and 100 milligrams of OPC from French grapeseed extract, and take that 2 or 3 times a day. It's a really good combination for maintaining good liver health. Our liver takes a beating. It has close to 600 different functions in the body. And our liver goes through a tremendous amount of work. In fact, it is so important to the body's health that nature has designed the liver that if it were cut away, surgically removed 3/4 of the liver, it would regrow back to its shape and size in a matter of months. Quite unique. You can't do that to the heart or kidneys or any other organ or gland. but the liver will regrow back to its original shape and size. Actually, if you want more information on how to keep your liver healthy, look for my book, co-authored with my friend Dr. Lexi Locke, L-O-C-H, Lexi, L-E-X-I, Dr. Lexi Locke, Terry Lemerond, and the book title is Reduce Your Liver Disease with Herbal Medicines. So you can go to my website, terrytalksnutrition.com, and click on Health Books. And for more information, you can ask your health food store owner. They may have a copy. Many of them do sell the book in their store. And you can also go on Amazon.com. You can find my book many different sources. So milk thistle is for all liver concerns and can bring it back to a normal level of function. Now watch out and be on alert for melanoma. Melanoma is skin cancer, the most dangerous kind of skin cancer. Skin cancer is the most common type of cancer. And melanoma is the most dangerous of all skin cancers. Melanoma can develop anywhere on the body, most often on areas that had sun exposure on your back, legs, arms, and face. And in some cases, what they call hidden melanomas can also appear on the soles of your feet, palms of the hand, and the beds of your fingernails. When diagnosed and treated early, melanoma survival rates are very, very high. Like 99% of survival 5 years later. Advanced melanoma that has spread to the lungs, brain, or liver is much more difficult to treat. 45% of patients with melanoma die a year after diagnosis. It's a very, very aggressive cancer. So be careful. Watch out for it. Now, there are some nutrients that are extremely valuable and able to fight melanoma. First of all, vitamin D, like dog. D. Patients deficient in vitamin D are more likely to have advanced melanoma and increased risk of death versus those with higher levels of vitamin D. Always use vitamin D3. Look on the label to see if it's vitamin D3. There's also another source called vitamin D2, not nearly as effective and semi-synthetic. Normal vitamin D is natural. And then also you can add curcumin. In research, up to 80% effective against human melanoma cells. 80%. And a grapeseed extract can reduce tumor size by 66% and almost 60% decrease in human melanoma cells. Olive leaf, oleuropein, is one of the compounds found in olive leaf. A compound found in the leaf of the tree showed up to be an 80% inhibition of human melanoma cells. Vitamin D curcumin, French grapeseed extract, olive leaf. These 4 nutrients are exceptionally effective for helping you fight against melanoma. Nuts. So many people just very rarely eat nuts. I think they kind of think they're around Christmas. And then they eat nuts. Then they buy a big bag of nuts in the shell. And they always go on the shelves around Christmas time. Nuts of all kinds are as healthy as all the vegetables and fruits we eat as well. And you can give your gut a boost by eating almonds. Almonds are good for your guts. What effect do almonds have on your intestines? What do they do? What kind of an effect do they have? Well, researchers wanted to know the same thing. So they recruited 85 volunteers who typically ate unhealthy snacks like chips and candy. They wanted to develop a 1-month study by replacing the chips and candy with nuts. So one group replaced the usual snacks with 2 ounces of almonds. And the other group received a calorie-matched muffin as a control. So one group is following a healthy snack. The second group is consuming a calorie-matched, same amount of calories that you would find in the nuts, but it was a muffin. And the results of this combination study, almond eating increased the level of short-chain fatty acids, which absolutely helps reduce intestinal inflammation and keep the intestinal barrier strong by 32% versus the muffin eating group that had no stronger barrier in the intestinal tract. The almonds were 32% better than nothing, and 32% versus the muffin eating group. And additionally, the almond eaters had 1.5 additional bowel movements per week, suggesting that almonds might be helpful for people who suffer from constipation. Almonds have a lot of fiber, a lot of good natural oils and proteins, and reduces the inflammation in the intestinal tract. How can you help have, or help yourself have, a better active bladder? Sometimes bladders are overactive and sometimes underactive. So let's make more of an emphasis on how we can correct an overactive bladder, which is a major problem. It's a leaky bladder is what we want to solve. A new survey of over 1,000 women ages 50 to 80 years of age, over half of the women over 65, and 43% of those ages 50 to 64 reported they suffered from incontinence, a leaky bladder. 30% said they experienced leakage nearly every day. And the most common triggers to cause the leakage, 79% coughing and sneezing. 64% said not having enough time to reach the bathroom. 60% of the women said they were too embarrassed to talk to their doctor about their bladder problem. It's good to seek advice. Don't be embarrassed. We all have problems of one kind or another. and we really need some advice from time to time. Talk to your doctor. But there are herbal solutions for bladder problems in men and women. The most active herb is from Iceland. It's called Angelica archangelica. And in clinical studies, to help reduce urinary frequency problems, it has been shown to increase bladder capacity, enlarge the bladder size to hold more urine, and reduce number of urinations at night, particularly in participants who had small bladder volumes. Some people may have just been born with a small bladder. We're not all the same size. So what does this mean? Well, subjects had to take fewer bathroom trips at night. And fewer bathroom trips means better sleep and better rest. Men have a time getting up, which they state that their prostate causes them to get up at night. While the prostate has some legitimacy to that, as the prostate gets older, men get older, the prostate swells and pushes on the bladder and makes the bladder smaller, being able to only hold a small amount of urine than before. So, Angelica archangelica can be used by both men and women. Women usually have their problems through the day. But you can take Angelica archangelica in the morning and also at night. It'll probably come in a capsule form. So you can take one capsule in the morning and one capsule at night. Men who mostly have their problems at night, I would focus on taking it before bedtime. 1 or 2 capsules. And you can adjust that. Angelica archangelica is very, very safe. There are known side effects. But it will help you to have fewer bathroom trips and less leakage through the day. So about 100 to 200 milligrams daily. If you have a bladder problem, as I mentioned during the day, take it in the morning. If you have bladder problems at night, take before going to bed. Easy to do. And it works extremely effectively. Now, do you want a health boost? Not an energy boost, but a health boost, especially later in life. Let's just say, are you looking for a later in life health boost? I'll tell you what, I would try the ketogenic diet. The keto diet. Why? It gives you a longer health lifespan. We age faster, much faster, when we eat sugar and carbohydrates. It actually changes the biological clock in our bodies. And in a new study, researchers looked at the effects of a keto diet, not only on aging, but on memory. They used an animal model. Middle-aged animals were fed either a standard diet for that animal or an alternating diet, 1 week of a standard diet and 1 week of the keto diet for 12 weeks. Results: the animals on the keto diet had lower blood sugar, lower A1C levels, highly improved memory, and better mobility than animals on a standard diet only. Additionally, fewer of the animals on the keto diet died in middle age versus the controlled diet, although overall lifespan was not extended. So I guess in other words, what I would say is more of the keto diet in animals caused them to reach an old age, and they were healthier. I know nobody wants to live longer if they feel terrible. I've heard that from others. Why would I want to live 10 more years the way I feel? I'm ready to go now. I can't stand it. I've heard that from people. And I understand that. But not only will you age longer, you'll have a longer, healthier lifespan, a lifespan and a healthier lifespan. So they were healthier when they got there. So you can live longer and healthier with a better lifespan and health span. Now the keto diet, it actually equals healthier lifespan. I love it. I've been following the ketogenic diet for 5 to 10 years. It made the biggest change in my life. And I follow it very strictly. I'm an ex-Marine, so I have a lot of discipline. It takes discipline. It takes some sacrificing. If you want to be better, then you've got to do some sacrificing. If you want to start a new business and you want to have that business be successful, you've got to do some sacrificing. You've got to do some things you don't want to do. But because you see that goal of having a better business, you will do the things that are necessary to accomplish your goals to have a better business. But now I want you to have a better life. I want you to be healthier. That's going to take discipline. That's going to take some things that you may not want to do, but your goal is to be healthier. Why be painful? Why have all these conditions of disease and all these symptoms that you have to deal with? So here's a new study I want you to hear. Researchers actually looked at the effects of the keto diet on memory and aging for a new animal model. This is a brand new one. It was extremely effective for reducing all of their aged conditions. People say, well, you have the condition because you're old. You go to the doctor in your 80s, and he said, well, that's just because you're getting old. No. You can be healthy at any age. You don't have to be unhealthy. I was working out the other day, and I was walking out of the place where I work out, and I heard my name called. I turned around, and I didn't see anybody I recognized who would know my name. And the lady said, I've been with you for ages and ages. I follow you with all the things you've done, and I take all your supplements and do everything I can to be healthy. Take all the supplements I mentioned. She's 92 years of age, and she was in good shape. Why not? That means sometimes for some people 10 to 20 years longer. Wouldn't you want to live 10 to 20 more years? I do. I want to fight for another 20 more years. I've got things to do. I want to go places. I've got grandkids. I want to see them. I don't want to go. There's no place I want to go yet. I know, good Lord, you're going to call me someday, but give me another 20 years. 20 more good years. And you can have 20 more good years by adopting the ketogenic diet. I'll give you a couple of websites to go to learn more about the ketogenic diet. The first one is ketogenicdietresource.com. ketogenicdietresource.com. And the other one is Dr. Diet. DrDiet.com. Two websites that have tremendous amount of information and knowledge on how to follow the ketogenic diet and what it can do for you. And it's easy to follow, and you won't be hungry. You can eat a lot of food, of the foods that you're allowed, but sugar's off the diet. Excessive carbohydrates is off the diet. Lots of good protein, lots of good fats, fruits, vegetables, olive oil, wine, a lot of good things too. And you'll feel so much better than getting up cranky all day or chronically in pain all day. Yeah, it's not worth it. But you've got to do something to make that happen. It's just not going to go away. You can't do the same thing over and over again and expect a different result. You've got to make change. And that, my friends, I've only got a few seconds left before I leave you today, but I'll be back. I'm here all the time, and I'll stay here for another 20 years. Another 20 years. So I want to be your life coach. So with that, my friends, say a prayer for this crazy, crazy world. And God bless you, and God bless that you make some changes. God bless this great, great country.
Thank you for listening to Terry Talks Nutrition Weekly Show. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review on your favorite podcast platform, including Apple, Google, and iHeartRadio.